What's up, everybody? Sunday, January 8th. It's around 2:30. I just wrapped up with Tucker Holloway. He was fantastic. Really enjoyed chatting with him. Stick around. That's coming up in the second half, or maybe in a couple minutes. The pre-roll won't be that long. This is the Sons of Saturday. Sons of Saturday are brought to you by Main Street Pharmacy, where you are not just a number, you are a neighbor. Head on down there for any of your prescription needs, any of your medication needs, household needs, personal care needs, anything. Just your local pharmacy, support local business. Jeremy, we appreciate you, and thank you for all that you do for us in the Blacksburg community and Virginia Tech as a whole. 2022 was a fantastic year. Appreciate everybody who contributed to making it a great year. We saw historical performances on the court, on the field, on the mat, on the baseball diamond, and the softball diamond. It was a great year for Virginia Tech. It was a great year for Sons of Saturday as well. Really enjoyed getting to work with the Queens of Castle, with the Upper 90 podcast, Justin Mutz's podcast. We have some awesome ones also coming up here later on this year. The Hokie Hoops podcast is being taped this afternoon. I just want to share a couple of quick thoughts after Virginia Tech did fall to NC State. If it wasn't already clear before, Hunter Couture is crucially important to this team's success, not just from a scoring standpoint, but simply having another trusted body to put on the court. We also don't know what's going on with Rodney Rice, but those two are obviously extremely important to get back on the court for this team to get things back on track. Again, Ed and Mike will cover this in depth, but it's really kind of hard to see anything improving until Zero gets back and we get some relief at the point guard position. But aside from that, our offense is just really struggling in general. You're seeing a lot more isolation, a little bit less movement. So I do want to point over, though, to a bright spot. Malijal Poteet and Lynn Kidd have played really well during this slide. Poteet is also a phenomenal free throw shooter. I want to give him his props there. But Lynn Kidd scored 14 points in 14 minutes last night on 7 of 8 shooting with 5 rebounds. So, crucial time for the Hokies to bounce back, get healthy. And, we did a great job in non-con buying us some wiggle room here, but we've just about lost all of that wiggle room with the last 3 weeks and need to find a way to get back on board here. The ladies had a huge bounce-back win versus 13th ranked Carolina at home after dropping 2 out of 3 versus Notre Dame and Clemson, and then went on to beat UVA at Castle without Liz Kitley. She twisted her ankle in pregame warmups. They are currently tied or barely losing to Miami with about 4 minutes left. So when I'm done with this, I'm going to go run and watch the end of that game, but wishing them nothing but the best. One more thing, Hokies Wrestling took on 12th ranked Cornell at the Moss Arts Center, where they lost 12-22. But Sam Latona notched a win over the 3rd ranked wrestler in the nation, Vito Arujau. Maybe that's pronounced right. Maybe it isn't. But a huge win for Sam Latona, and the Hokies will look to bounce back against George Mason next. Before we wrap up, I want to shout out another sponsor that has just joined the Sons of Saturday family, and that is Harvey's Chevrolet Buick, located on 1500 Tyler Avenue in Radford. They are the best spot for your new and used car needs and any services that you need to have done as well. Listen, I know there are some students out there, or maybe some adults, who have not gotten an oil change in 3,000, 4,000 miles. Jackson, come here. We're bringing over our native truck aficionado who's going to tell you what you need to do. Jackson, come here. Hurry up. How often does one need to get an oil change?
Every 3K.
Every 3K. So if you're running your car and you haven't done that, get it done. Hold on. What could potentially go wrong if you do not get an oil change every 3,000 miles?
Ring failure. Bearing failure.
Lifter failure.
Camshaft
warping. Give me one more.
It's like a list that
an endless list of problems if you don't get your oil change. So please head on down to Harvey's Chevrolet Buick. Let them know Sons of Saturday sent you. If you're looking for a car, you're looking for service, looking to get your tires rotated, you can get it all done at Harvey's Chevrolet Buick. we have some awesome things coming up in 2023. We're really excited about it. Stay tuned. Thank you all who made 2022 special, whether you were a guest, whether you were a listener, whether you're someone we ran into in Blacksburg or at a road game. It's been a ton of fun doing this thing. It's been a ton of fun covering the school that we love. And we have some awesome, awesome things coming up in 2023. 2023, the year where Virginia Tech is playing a game at Rutgers. And if you don't think we are blowing it out with the tailgate and everything else, you are mistaken, my friend. So get ready for that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pass it over to Tucker Holloway. And I hope everybody had a wonderful and relaxing new year. And we're looking forward to 2023. Let's talk to Tucker Holloway. All right, everybody. Sunday, January 8th. It's 1:36. Is this the second interview of the new year so far? First interview with football. I am joined today by Tucker Holloway. Tucker is a freshman wide receiver and return specialist from Andrews, North Carolina. He just wrapped up his freshman year, in which he set the Virginia Tech program record for single game punt return yardage versus Georgia Tech. He had 188 yards that day on just 7 returns. He was named to PFF's All-ACC first team as a return specialist, and this season he averaged 21.2 yards per return. Tucker, welcome to the show. How you doing, man?
What's up? I'm doing great. Hey, it's great to be on. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here.
So are you back in Andrews now? Are you in Blacksburg? What's been like the holidays, and how have you been doing all of that?
Yeah, man. I've been in Andrews for a while. Just spending time with my family, enjoying the break we got. Just working out, relaxing, training hard. I'll be headed back to Blacksburg this week, so I'm excited. I'm excited to be back. Home's been great. It's been a great break. Been good to spend time with my family, but I'm excited to be back, get to work.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your journey to Virginia Tech. The top offers, if you go ahead and you look at the 24/7, you see Vanderbilt on there, you see Iowa State on there, you see all 3 service academies. So we got a smarty pants here on the podcast. Shout out, my brother went to Navy. You committed to Virginia Tech on July 3rd, 2021, and signed on December 15th. What ultimately led you to commit and sign at Virginia Tech over those other options?
Yeah. So I think for me and a lot of the recruits in our class, it was kind of a roller coaster of a recruiting process, just with, I committed to Fuente and his staff, and then, they got fired mid-season. And so it kind of threw everything into a spiral because, when they got fired, there was a few weeks that I could kind of talk to whenever Coach Pry got hired. I got to, have a few weeks to be able to talk to him and try to see if they still wanted me the same as the old coaching staff, and just see where that was headed. But, like I said, I committed, and like July, that was my plan all along, was to commit in July. And it was between really Virginia Tech and Iowa State. Those are my 2 top schools. And it felt like at the end of the day, the love that I received from the fans and just the people, the teammates, at Tech, it felt like home. You'll hear it say that all the time, like, this is home. And it's true. Like it felt like if I wasn't going to be playing football, like I could attend this school, I could go here. I felt like I belonged at Tech as not just an athlete, but as a person as well. And so, I committed, was locked in, and then mid-season when the coaches got fired, I never decommitted, but, I talked to some other schools because that was, the smart thing to do. I didn't know what the situation would be, whether they'd stay true to our offers and everything like that. So I did end up talking to a few schools down the stretch. Like I went on a visit to Vandy, and I talked to Tennessee some. And, there was a period of like a week leading in the signing day, because I knew I wanted to sign early, because I knew I wanted to enroll early and just get that jump start on college. But there was a week there where I was struggling. Like I didn't know where I wanted to go. At the day of signing day, I think we only had like 3 or 4 coaches hired, and Coach Holt, the running backs coach, was the only offensive coach that was hired. So I didn't have an OC yet, didn't have a wide receiver coach. So I wasn't
Did you
able to.
have any? I gotta ask you. Did you
Mhm.
have any insight into the hiring process or any idea of who it might be, or you had no idea who was going to be in charge?
As far as offensive coordinator, I was pretty sure it was going to be Tyler Bowen. But he was still with the Jags, and so there was no way we weren't supposed to communicate at all, just because of his contract with them and everything. Coach Prod told me it's probably going to be this dude Tyler Bowen. So I did my research, watch his games and stuff, but no, I wasn't allowed to talk to him. And then no clue who the wide receiver coach was going to be. They didn't even they weren't even sure about him. They gave me like four dudes who they thought it could be, and it ended up not being any of those. So that shows, I mean, I just didn't know. But it was cool because I remember like when I finally made that decision on signing day, it came down to like I had talked to Coach Pry so many times, and that last time when I decided to sign with Tech and stay committed and and move on. I just remember like telling myself and then also telling Coach Pry, like I trust you, and there was just a level of trust there that he hadn't even really built with me through experience. That was just something that I knew, like, okay, I'm gonna have to put my trust in this dude, and hopefully he's gonna get the right people in. And obviously, I think he did. It came down to it, and I signed my letter without an OC, without a wide receiver coach. Trusted that he was going to get the right people in there, and I love Coach Pry. I've grown to love him. I barely even knew him then, and just knowing him better and better now, like I'm glad that I put that trust in him because he took it and he handled it the right way. There was a lot of us doing that, so. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it was just putting a level of trust in Coach Pry. But then the other thing was so many times people would tell me, where would you go to school if it wasn't for football? Which it is for like it comes down to it. Like I'm playing football,
Right.
but
Right.
but at the same time, like at the end of the day, I felt like I could be a normal student at Virginia Tech. It felt like home. When I say that, I don't mean like home in general. I mean like it felt like where I'm from in North Carolina. It felt like the people there were my type of people, and it felt like I just got along and fit in. And then you can't turn down like Enter Sandman and Lane Stadium and dude just living and playing in a football town and a football supporting school.
So when you get to Virginia Tech, what is the biggest difference that you noticed about both your day-to-day life and then practice in the game that you were playing? The biggest thing that jumped out to you for both?
Yeah. Well, I would say one thing I've noticed since I've been there, and I was an early enrollee, and then we had more freshmen come in the summer, like normal enrollees, and then even the way they've handled recruits and the dudes who are coming in this week, our early enrollees for the 2023 class, it's a kind of different than how we were handled because again, all those coaches were getting there at the same time we were, and so we honestly were just kind of, I'm not going to say we were thrown in. We had plenty of support. Like, don't get me wrong. They did a great job with how fast the turnover was and everything going on. But compared to, I would say, like the freshmen that came in the summer and I think like these incoming freshmen, it was more so just like, all right, we're here. Like the coaches are just getting here. It's new. We got to go. Like we kind of just got thrown in with everyone else, which was tough. But I think it grew character, and it made me grow and stretch as a person. I was very uncomfortable here, but in a good way, in a way that was making me grow. And so I would say the biggest change and stretch for me was learning how to balance, like a higher level of academics, as well as I'm playing Division I Power 5 football, like. And then at the same time, like the social aspect of things. I come from a super small area, so just being around that, that many people all the time, and making new friends, but also trying to stay locked in on doing well at school. But then at the same time, like I'm playing football, I got to be locked in. Like I knew I had to get better in a lot of areas. So I just tried to put my head down and just go to work and grow,
Another thing, let's talk a little bit about the season here. So midway through the season, one of the most maligned groups across the entire program was the punt return team. We were shifting players. We were shifting the way that we did it. The numbers weren't great. And it, in my opinion, was one of the best turnarounds that we saw on any unit on the entire football season last year. And it's not as simple. I want to give you your flowers, but I also want to say it's not as simple as just, oh, well, we put a new punt returner back there, so now everything's good.
Yep.
Awesome. So can you just talk about some of the problems that you all saw early and some of the adjustments that you made, whether it was personnel-wise, scheme-wise, to make that unit honestly one of the better units in the conference for the last few weeks of the season?
Yeah. Like you said, we just we weren't really producing on the punt return team early on, and that was one of those things that I think it kind of goes back to, all right, new coaches, they're still getting to know the players, like whether it's the returner or the dudes blocking on the chase team, whatever. Like I felt like throughout the first half of the season, they're still trying to figure out, like who's going to be the best to put back there, who's going to be the best to put on that team, who's going to, try to go block the punt. I mean, we had a block punt not too long before that, and that was like a personnel change that happened that week with PJ Prelude. So, it was one of those things that I personally think the coaches and the players are still like learning each other. Which towards the end of the season, you saw, I think from my perspective and everyone else's, at least on the team, like we started to really click better as far as player to coach relationships and player to player relationships. But I feel like, yeah, obviously we were struggling. Everyone knew that. Players knew that. Coaches knew that. And I knew going in, like I had returned punts in high school, but I wasn't sure that I would in college. But I went to Coach Holt, our special teams coordinator, one day. This was like mid-fall camp, and I asked him if I could just start catching punts. And so it was one of those.
Wait, so that was never on the horizon.
No,
was you being a punt returner until you asked?
Dude, I remember in the beginning of the season, like when I say mid camp, like it was towards the end of camp when I even just like started going out there and just catching punts. And for the most part, I was just catching them off the jugs. Like I wasn't even catching them off the live foot because no one thought I was going to return punts. I was freshman and I'm skinny, tall dude. So, but anyways, so throughout the whole season, I was not returning punts, and I knew I wasn't going to probably until if anything, maybe one of the 4 games that I played in my red shirt, which would probably be towards the end of the season. And so but I still prepared like every week, every game. I just would catch like punts before practice and then catch punts after practice and then catch as many, like during our punt period, I'm trying to get in the front line and catch as many as I can. So I'm catching, like hundreds and hundreds of punts throughout the season, even though I personally didn't even think I would return a punt this whole season. But I think just through that, it built trust with the coaches. They saw me just catching punts. They saw how I fielded the ball. And at the end of the day, like, there's no disrespect to whoever is doing it before or whoever, we put multiple people out there. Not that they weren't capable, but I think that just through my preparation, working every single week, catching, hundreds of punts, just like anything else, just like I would, just the same thing, the same approach I had to wide receiver, just preparing the same way every week. And that built trust with them. And I remember like mid-season, Coach Holt came up to me. He came up to me like on the first practice after a game week. And I was talking to him and he was like, we almost put you back there to return punts this week. And that was the first time in my head. I was like, no, you got to be playing with me. Like, there's no way. But he told me, he was like, you need to be ready because we're probably going to put you back there when you play your 4 games. And that blew me away because I just didn't expect to return a punt the whole year. Even though I had prepared like I was going to return every punt. But that was I was able to flip my mindset there and kind of know like, okay, any game, like I could be thrown in there. If we're not producing like we need to, which we haven't been, we were not averaging many punt yard or return yards. And so I kind of just started to prepare. I was prepared physically, and then I started preparing mentally. And then, a few games later, it was like a Sunday meeting, and I come in and I sit down. I was just chilling. I didn't, I just figured it was another Sunday. Here we go. Let's get ready. New game week. I was excited, looking over like the game plan stuff. And my friend like taps me and like points to the screen. It's the depth chart, And I was number 1 on the punt return depth chart. And so I looked at him and I was like, here we go. Like, we're going to find out. We're going to find out real fast. So, I feel like me getting the opportunity to go back there, it was a mixture. It was a mixture between, the coaches are trying to figure out who's going to be best in these certain positions. They're learning us, we're learning them. No disrespect to whoever returned the rest of the season, but it's just they kind of got to the point where I was the most prepared guy, and I could confidently say that because I prepared the most to do that. And so, when it came down to it, I was ready to go. It was nerve-wracking. I'm a freshman, but I was prepared. There's a difference between being prepared and nervous. When you're confident and you're prepared, that's good nerves.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with some nerves when you're prepared and you're confident versus being nervous because you're not prepared. And I had nerves, but I knew I was prepared, and I told myself that every day going into those first games that I was returning. So
one of the best things about this season, if you take the wins and the losses and the close losses out, is no matter how much adversity you all faced, I never was watching the game and saying like, these guys have quit, these guys have given up. It was the entire year you were finding ways to keep competing, keep trotting out there. And ultimately that is what builds the chemistry of winning and builds the chemistry of a successful team. So I wanted to just ask you, like, there's no way around it. Last year was probably very, as frustrating as it was to watch, it must have been very difficult to go to practice on Monday after by 3 points, or go to study hall on a Tuesday. How are you guys able to stay together? What held you guys together? Just kind of talk me through how you guys were able to push through so much adversity this season.
Yeah. What's kind of crazy is being a freshman, coming out of high school. Like, this was the first team that I've ever been on that had faced like adversity like this, that didn't just fall apart. And obviously that's because like we're grown men, like we're professionals in what we do. Like, we do this at this high of a level for a reason. And I never even, like, it was kind of funny because all along the way, at any point, I feel like the wheels could have fallen off, and I would have just been like, that's just what happens. That's what had happened in every other team that I've faced adversity like that with, whether it was in high school or, middle school, whatever. But it was cool. It taught me, it not only, I feel like, showed to the fans that like, nah, we don't have quit in us, but also like it taught me, and I feel like it taught the rest of the team and the coaches as much about each other as it showed on screen or on the field to the fans. Because it's like you're saying, I can confirm, like, there was never quit in our team. And it was cool because like we had some tough losses. But every single week, there wasn't a week where we didn't come back and practice as hard as we practiced the entire year. And that was cool to see, just from my perspective, because that grows my trust and my faith in the players beside me, and then as well as, the coaches, because they did the same thing. They're coming out, they're coaching us just as hard, if not harder, every single week. And so that was awesome. Like that was awesome for me as a freshman to know like what my team's made out of. because you can build off of that. That's like, just like you said, that's the sign of a team who's going to build and who's going to be good. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to build off of that. There's no quit. There's no quit in anyone that's on that team. And if there was, then they're probably not there anymore. And so I can promise you, like, bro, we're going to work our butt off this year. And no matter how any game goes, no matter how, like, any practice goes, like, there's another day. We're living another day if God gives us another day. And when we get that another day, like, we're coming back and we're working even harder. And that was kind of the mentality the whole season was, okay, like, obviously we're not where we want to be at, but, like, let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can just push it just a little bit more this week. Let's see if we can get better in this area just a little bit more this week. And I mean, I think it's pretty simple. There was no quit, and it was cool. It was cool because like I said, I learned a lot from it, just like anyone else would, because it helped me to understand what type of people, not just football players, but what type of, like, character that my teammates and coaches had.
So looking back, it is January 8th. It's a little bit after New Year's, but as you look back on 2022, what are some of the biggest takeaways that you took from last year's season? Whether it's on the field, off the field, whatever. What are some of those takeaways, and what are some of the biggest focuses that you have for improvement moving into 2023?
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of cool because I came in early enrollee, so it's like actually a year. I was literally there for all of 2022, so it's kind of cool because that was my first year, going in the second year now. Obviously spring and summer is its own thing. The training is nonstop, and we're gonna be working our butts off. I promise you, like, we worked our butts off last spring. It's gonna be crazy this year, this spring and this summer. But yeah, just looking back to the season, I see now, like, as a sophomore, what it takes mentally, as far mentally along with physically, to be successful. For me personally, that was somewhere that I was challenged, I feel like, more than any other area of my game. Coming to Virginia Tech and being here for this year was, all right, like, everybody's talented physically and athletically. And there is ways, like, personally, I feel like no one outworks me. And I have, like, 2 goals for 2023. And my second goal is I'm going to work harder than anyone else in the entire country. Like, and I'm going to do that. I have no doubt in that. No one's going to spend more time in the facility than I will. But I feel like the area I was stretched the most was mentally, because at this level, there's only so much and so much, like, better you can get athletically, physically, which that's still a lot. But I feel like the areas that the game is really won is that mental, aspect of the game, which is something somewhere that I need to grow. So my whole goal, as far as football goes, like, I have my own goals, like, spiritually and mentally, and just, like, how to grow as a man. But I feel like my personal goal for me, but then also for this team, because, like, I'm a sophomore now, there's going to be freshmen coming in. Like, I'm going to be one of the leaders, whether I should be or not. Like, I'm going to be, even though I'm still young. So, like, my goal for me personally and for our team is just, number one, no one's going to outwork us in the entire country. No one's going to outwork me. And I hope, like, through doing that, I'm going to bring other people along with me, whether that's a freshman or that's a senior who hops on board with that. And then the other thing is, no one's going to do it mentally. The goal is to watch as much film as I've ever watched this year, is to study as many teams that we're going to be playing in the fall as I can. My goal really is just to understand the mindset and the goals of the coaches, because they understand what we're trying to do, as far as schematically, better than I do and better than any player does. So that's my goal, just, like, understand the mental game and get better in that area. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that's something that I look back on, and it kind of it pushed me, and so I kind of want that's what I want to get better at.
Well said. Well said, Tucker Holloway. So now, take a sip of water. This is the fun part. This is the rapid fire part. So these ones are just quick, fun questions. Some of them have to do with football. Some of them don't. First one.
Okay. What's up?
If you could go to dinner with 4 people, dead or alive, from any time period or anything, and you get to pick the restaurant, go ahead and give me your 4 people.
I get to pick the restaurant too?
Yeah.
Could be any restaurant anywhere?
Any restaurant. It can be anywhere.
Oh, man. Okay. People. I'm gonna have to go with Kobe. Kobe's one. I'm gonna have to go with I'm gonna pick Martin Luther King. And then this is actually the easiest one. Freaking Jesus. I definitely want Jesus there, just to observe. That's definitely number one, actually. And then
if he's just there to observe, he is omnipresent, so he would be
That's
there
true.
anyway.
That's true. That's
Right?
a good point.
I don't mean to poke a hole in your observation, but he is.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I want to be able to ask that man direct questions though.
Okay.
I need him there for real.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 3. You think there's any just like crazy one that I'm missing?
I mean, we've had some wild ones.
We've had some crazy ones.
We've had some wild ones from Taiwan Garba, and we've had family.
Oh, I bet.
We've had some interesting ones for sure.
Yeah. Dang.
It's a great question. I don't mean to pat myself on the back. It is a good question.
It is because that's 4 is a lot. 4 is a lot, and there's so many people.
Could be a celebrity crush. It could be a musician you really like.
Yeah.
It could be. It's up to you. It could be mom.
Give me. Man, give me Tom Brady. Let's go with the
GOAT.
Okay,
Tom Brady.
I just want to pick his brain.
Where are you going?
That's all right. Well, we definitely want to sit down. We want to take some time, as much time as we can spend. I personally have never eaten at like a bougie restaurant. I don't think so, but I'm going somewhere nice, bro. We're spending like, with all them going.
Yeah,
we're spending a lot of money.
Someone will pick up the tab. Somebody,
one of them. Somebody's gonna pick up the tab. But we're going somewhere nice. I couldn't even name a nice restaurant like that because I've never been. But we're going somewhere like top of New York City or something.
Who are a couple players, coaches, or mentors that really helped you out last year at Tech?
Okay. First, like at the end of the day, even though like he wasn't present at Tech all the time, like first I always go back to my dad. And like I'm not gonna elaborate on that a lot, but my dad's been there. Both my parents. I should say my parents, because like my mom came and visited me even more times than my dad, and just like spent quality time with me to make sure I was doing good, make sure I was straight. But yeah, so my parents definitely number one. Like my Tech family, that's family away from family. Like don't get me wrong, but my parents, my family, I'm a family man. I come from a big family. I got a lot of siblings. That's why I've loved being home, just spending time with them. But definitely my parents. And then we moved to more so Tech. There's a few people in the community, a few people I go to church with who have just invested into me and made sure that I'm straight, like spiritually and mentally. And then I would say from the Tech side of things, people who really like Sons of Saturday people would know. Just this small things from the coaches checking in. Like it's a cool balance because at the end of the day, like the coaches are getting paid to get production out of you, and like they're getting paid to make you as good as you can get, as good as you can be, and so they have a job to do. So they're by no means they're soft or like I never felt like they care for me too much, or like they're being too soft, they're being too loving. There's always like a firm hand that from the coaches that's like, all right, like you got to be better here, you got to get better, you got to whatever. But at the same time, whether it's the coaches, whether it's the support staff, like you always have the support that you need. And just having that in general, not one specific person, but just people checking up throughout the semester, checking up throughout the summer. Um, it's good to have that and to know like I may not be using all those resources all the time, but they're there, and they care. They want the best for me. And then, bro, I would just say at the end of the day, my friends is what gets me through the day. My best friend, he's a tight end, Harrison St. Germain. That's my dog from the beginning. We came in together. We do everything together. If you see one of us in the facility, the other one's there. Like we're both there. We get there in the morning. We don't leave till late at night. Like you won't see anyone in the facility more than you see us. And so just having somebody that's like equally as determined as I am, that helped me personally just to have someone that's going to be alongside, the process every step of the way because coaches are great, people around you are great, but you're not eating every meal with coaches. You're not, going to the dorms and going to sleep at night with the coaches. Like they're not sleeping, they're not eating, they're not brushing their teeth. Y'all ain't using the same bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you're living with these people. And so my friends, like they got me through everything. Harrison and Luke Shields, like that's my guys. We'll be living together, but in the summer. But yeah, they're just friends, and that's what Tech's all about. That's what makes it home. People always say it's home. It's because of people, and so that's what really got me through. My friends, the people.
If you were bringing your people or your friends back to Andrews, North Carolina, you've already painted it as being a small town, but what are like
Yep.
where do you have to go eat and what do you have to go do?
All right. So, oh yeah, I've already thought about this because it's gonna happen. So I'm gonna get my people down here. But number one, we gotta go eat at Burger Basket. That's like a little burger joint here. And when I say small town, bro, like I live in a small town. Like our McDonald's closed like 3 years ago. Like that's what I mean when I say small town. Like I live in the middle of nowhere. So, but it's beautiful. That's what I love. Like I love it. Like I say small town, and I say that to say that I love where I live, and that's why I chose like Tech, which is a little bit smaller. It's not as big as Nashville or Knoxville or something like that. But so we going to eat at a burger joint, and then we're going to the lake, and we're going like cliff jumping. So where I live, it's in the mountains. So even the lakes are like pretty much just puddles of water like in mountains. So they're super deep, and there's cliffs all around them. So we're definitely going cliff jumping. We're gonna get on the boats. We're going tube, wakeboard, any type of stuff like that. And then we definitely got to go down the Nantahala River. That's like a giant, massive tourist attraction around here.
Sounds like summer camp. Hamburgers and cliff jumping.
Oh yeah. Nice. I mean, so because my family, so I'm actually here right now at Snowbird Wilderness Outfitters. That's the camp that my parents and my family founded in 1997. So like we're all about like outdoor adventure, like wilderness, crazy stuff. So we got like the best recreation any camp anywhere around. So
plug it again. What's it called? Plug it one more time.
Snowbird Wilderness Outfitters.
Okay.
Like, yeah, it's a spot. So we definitely come in here. After all that, we're riding wreck. We got swinging zip lines. We got paintball, laser tag, all types of stuff like that. Just hang out. We got basketball courts. We're going to come back here, hoop. Got to hoop till like 1, 2 a.m. against campers here. And then Oh man, I don't know.
It's a
Just
pretty
enjoy
full
it.
day.
Maybe
Pretty
did
full
it.
day.
Yeah, a full day. We might go on bro. We gotta go see the mountain. We gotta watch. Oh, we ended actually before the basketball night. We were ending it with the sunset. We
Okay.
gotta watch the sunset. That's like mine and my friend's thing. So
Mhm.
like we do that in Blacksburg. When it's the summer and we're not practicing till it's dark, you can catch us every single night watching the sunset. Like we go get our food, watch sunset. So we end of the day like that here because it's different in the mountains, different type of
So
sunset.
something I've been a little disappointed by, not by you, but by other folks that I've interviewed, is a big thing that we would do in the summertime, and I'll remind you guys in the summertime. But you got to go down to New River Junction. It's over by McCoy, so it's by the driving range.
Yeah, I've
And
heard of it.
if you go down to Floyd, there's a place where you can go and you park, and they have these tubes, and you float like 5 or 6 miles down the river. It takes like 4 hours,
Oh yeah,
and then you can stop, and there's a great place for you to jump into. You tie your tubes there, you do a bonfire there at night.
dude.
Nobody's heard of it,
Yes,
and everybody needs to
bro.
do that. So in the
Hey, I've
summertime,
heard of it. I've heard of it.
okay.
Someone at my church in Blacksburg told me about that, and they were like, "Bro, I know the type of stuff you like to do and your family does." They're like, "You got to do this."
Yes,
So
add
I'm
that
gonna have
to
to
your
hit.
list.
I'm gonna have to hit that in the summer.
Yes, yeah. So
All right.
that's a good one. And then another one is I remember I think it was my sophomore year, my freshman year. Michael Brewer would always go down, and he would park one truck at the top and another truck at the bottom, and we'd kayak down the McCoy. And
Yeah.
I went with him, my brother, and myself. We had 3 kayaks, and between the 3 of us, we caught 115 bass by just doing spinners
Oh,
all the way
dude.
down there over like a
Oh
6 or
my
8 hour.
gosh,
It was awesome.
115.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Nah, dude,
You
I
gotta,
gotta do
add
that.
to the list. You gotta add that to
Heck
the list.
yeah.
Who has this is a good one. Who has the weirdest pregame routine? I heard about Dax's yellow
Dude,
underpants
yes.
shower, so we've heard that one already. But who else has a weird routine?
Now, what's funny though is I listened to the podcast that Dax did, and I listened like to that section, and I was like, I might do the cold shower thing, but I am not wearing the same freaking underwear, pink underwear for my entire career. I'm not doing that. But it was funny. Dang, let me think. Dude, I feel like I don't know our whole team good enough to say like to know like some real weird stuff.
Mhm.
But I would say one of the weirdest things for like to me that I don't understand. I kind of understand because like gets them warmed up, but dudes will sit in the hot tub for like 30 minutes.
Get all pruny before the
Dude,
game.
get all like slimy and nasty. I don't like that. That's not my like I get they're trying to get their body warm,
Mhm.
but dude, that's not my thing. The hot tub is kind of nasty. Get all like
Yeah,
soft and
I wouldn't like that.
I feel like this is nasty, but there's some other small things, some funny stuff that we do. All
Mhm.
the wide receivers, we always play FIFA the night before.
Oh,
We all go to the same room, hang out. That's
Mhm.
more like a fun one, like cool stuff. That's nothing really weird, but
right.
I'm sure there's some weird stuff, but I don't like. In my friend group, there's nothing that I'm like, dude, you need to stop doing that. That's weird. You know what I'm saying? But so I don't know. Well,
Could you be the weird one? Do you have any weird superstitions or stuff that you do before a game?
I wouldn't say I have anything weird, but I am like very particular.
Okay.
So like I gotta have all the right stuff. If I leave anything or like if I don't have something and I don't get it before the game, it throws me off a little bit. I can't say it don't. And it could be something small that really ain't even gonna affect my game that much. But yeah, I gotta have like the same. Okay, when I say the same stuff, I don't mean the same pink underwear for 4 years
Right.
college or 5 years of college, whatever. But like for the season, at least, I need the same underwear, the same like compressions, knee pads, thigh pads. Obviously, I got the same gloves I've been wearing at practice all week. I'll just get a brand new pair of those. But they got to be the same like color, same exact glove, whether it's padded or non-padded that I've been wearing the whole week. And then, it's just small stuff like spending time just being quiet, spending time in prayer, preparing mentally for the game. Because, like I said, it's a mental battle as much as anything. Yeah, I got to get my time alone. Probably like a shower in the morning. I got to get a hot shower in the morning, get my blood flowing. It's pretty normal stuff for me, but it's there's nothing that stands out that's weird, but I do a lot of stuff that has to be the same every week. For me to at least feel good,
Last two. Who is a player in your class or in the wide receiver room that no one is talking about that is going to have a big year next year?
Next year? I personally feel like, and I'm not, because we're talking about people who aren't being talked about. I'm going to go with, I think Steven Gosnell is one of the crafty. I think he's personally the craftiest dude in our room. Most people don't see him as a real crafty dude because he's not super fast, even though he's working on it. He would hate that I even said that. But the way he manipulates defenders and manipulates his routes, as well as he's kind of like big brother to me because the way he breaks down coverages and breaks down things mentally, he processes the game really well. He also just processes in the middle of his route, like things he's going to do, ways he's going to manipulate his defender. He usually wins all of his one-on-one stuff like that. He's just a great player, and he does things the right way. I think that'll lead to him having a good season. He's not like the flashy dude that you're going to see, just like go off and make 10 defenders miss and have a 60-yard touchdown off of a slant or anything like that. But I feel like if anyone is going to just put in the work and be the most prepared, and other than me, that it's him. And if he gets faster, then combines that with how crafty and smooth he is, he's going to be dangerous.
And last one that I have for you, what is your favorite non-football memory that you made in your freshman year?
I'm going back to it. It's 100% in the summer, going, like, when I say every night, bro, I mean like every single night we're watching the sunset. Like me and my friends, and it could be a good, like I got my best friend's Harrison. It could have just been me and him. We're just chilling up there. We always get food, so we go get Chipotle or
so where do you go? I know where I used to go. I used to go over by the airport, or I do it over at McCoy. But I know that parking garage is like a new spot that a lot of people go to.
So that's what I started at. Started that way, just so you know. Okay. Because no one was going, and me and Harrison had been going the whole like end of the spring, and then when we got back in the summer, we started going, and then when like all the other sports and people got there, they started coming with us. So I took like 15 people, 20 people up there sometimes. But then we actually graduated from that. So we moved on. Some people still go there, but we moved on to we graduated from the parking garage. We found a better spot, which I found the parking garage just driving around, but I didn't find the new spot. So the new spot, a lot of people already know about, a lot of people go. We just call it the Hill. It's like the Blacksburg golf course or something like that. It's way up there on the top. And there's benches up there. And by the end of the day, nobody's playing golf anymore. There might be one or two people, and the owners are fine with you going up there and sitting, watching. And it's just the upgraded version of the garage, because it's actually like way past the garage, just up the hill. So you can see pretty much all of Blacksburg. But that's the best memory I made just throughout this year, because it was a time of relaxation and like peace of mind for me, with everything we go through every day and all the training, all the preparation, all the academic stuff. That was a time for me to just sit, we eat our food and not talk. Like, we're just chilling, we're just watching the sunset. And it was a way that was kind of me saying like, all right, my day's done. Like, I put in a good day's work. I get to chill, relax, be proud of the work we've done. So that's gotta be my favorite. Like, that's my favorite memory.
Tucker, it's been awesome, man. And yeah, those were some of the best memories that I had back at my time, just hanging out with the people you love after a hard
Yep,
day.
that's right. That's
Earn,
right.
Earn the end of the day. I would suggest you're a sunset person. San Diego does have the best sunsets. Just going to
San
tell
Diego.
you.
That's what's up.
I lived out there for 6 months last year, or two. I guess it's 2 years ago now. And the sun doesn't rise over the water; it sets over the water. So you don't have to wake up early. It's a little bit better from the sun.
All right.
Perspective.
So it's all the sunset, huh?
But Tucker, yeah, thank you so much for joining the show. We hope to have you on again. It's been a ton of fun watching you grow and getting to love Blacksburg as much as I did back in my time there. So take us out. This is your time. Sharky, shout out whoever you'd like to shout out. Let people know where they can find you on social media, and that'll do it for the show.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to say thank you. Everything Sons of Saturday does is fun. Everybody loves Sons of Saturday. What they mean to the community, whether that's the football community or just the whole Blacksburg community in general. It's cool. It's cool to see what y'all have done. And it's brought a lot of people together, even just through social media, the podcast, whatever it is. And I really appreciate, y'all having me. It means a lot. It's an honor. So thank you. And then
thank you, Tuck. Damn, that might have been the nicest shot. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. I got y'all. Hey, y'all know what's up. Some of the Saturdays where it's at. But just I'll just say, like, last thing, I ain't got no shout outs or nothing. I just say to the fans, like, we love y'all and we're gonna get this thing right. Like, that's what I can say. I can look anybody in the eye and say nobody's gonna outwork me personally. I can say that, and I feel like I can say that about our team. We got a long spring and summer of preparation that's gonna lead into September. But we're going to get this thing right. We're getting the right people. You can look at the people we're bringing in, look at the people that are already here, that the new coaches are bringing in, that the people that are on the coaching staff. Like, it's the type of people you want leading your program. And I think everybody already knows that. But just to reiterate, after, a long, tough season, like, we're going to get this thing right. And it's going to take time. Just be patient. As much as you want it and y'all want it now, like, I promise you, the players and the coaches, we want it 100 times more than that, because we're putting in the work every day. We're there every day. We're working our butts off, and we're gonna get it right. So, just for the fans, stay faithful, keep cheering us on. We need that support more than y'all understand. So, appreciate everything, and go Hokies.
Well said, Tucker. Best of luck and safe travels back to Blacksburg, and you have a fantastic spring.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Take care.